Welcome to our latest video. Today, we're diving into a fascinating yet dark aspect of human psychology, the 7 unexpected methods narcissists use to test their potential targets. Have you ever wondered how narcissists manage to manipulate and control others so effortlessly? Do they possess some kind of superpower that helps them identify the perfect prey? The answer lies in the sophisticated tests they secretly conduct from the very beginning of a relationship. In this video, we'll uncover the hidden tactics and loyalty tests that narcissists often use. Are you ready? Let's get started. Being in a relationship with a narcissist is like being trapped in a hall of mirrors, where reality is distorted and love is weaponized. It's not just emotional pain, it's relentless psychological torment, a living hell that burns your soul in the eternal flames of manipulation and deceit. Amid the chaos, you desperately search for meaning behind their irrational actions, trying to piece together the random events that led you to this nightmare. You convince yourself that you're special, that you've been chosen, because of your empathy, kindness, and compassion. You cling to these qualities like a lifeline in a sea of lies, justifying the cruelty you endure. But the harsh truth is, you are merely a victim in the narcissist's twisted game. They don't love you for who you are. They love what you can provide: sex, emotional energy, security, and servitude. As long as you fulfill 2 of these 4 criteria, you'll be ensnared in their toxic web, a puppet in the hands of a master manipulator. Don't pride yourself on your admirable traits or your charm, because to a narcissist, none of it matters. They don't see the real you, nor do they care about your compassion or kindness. No matter how brightly these qualities shine, they are mere grains of sand lost in the depths of their self-centered universe. The only thing that makes you special to a narcissist is your willingness to be a pawn in their game. They crave someone who will willingly step into their fabricated world, becoming a shadow, a subordinate who fulfills their every need. To them, you are simply a tool for satisfying their selfish desires, an extension of their distorted ego. The bitter truth is there is no ideal type that attracts narcissists. They don't love, they exploit. They don't cherish, they demand. And the 4 S's, sex, supply, security, and servitude, are the sole metrics by which they measure your value in their eyes. The question: how do narcissists, with their inflated egos and self-absorbed perspectives, identify potential prey? Those who are willing to supply them with the emotional and material resources they crave. How do they see through outward appearances to pinpoint the ideal victim, to feed their insatiable hunger for the 4 S's? A fateful encounter, a romantic date, or even a simple collaboration on a work project can open the door to their world. You feel a connection, believing you found a soulmate or a kindred spirit. But behind the charming facade lies a manipulator, quietly evaluating whether you're worthy of entering the kingdom of illusions they've meticulously constructed. To ensure you're the perfect prey, narcissists will skillfully subject you to 7 subtle tests. These hidden challenges are designed to determine whether you'll willingly step into their toxic world, bound by invisible strings of manipulation and deceit. What are these tests? Join us as we lift the curtain and delve into the cunning strategies narcissists use to select their victims. Phase 1. Intense romance. They will shower you with a torrent of compliments, grand romantic gestures, and extravagant gifts, all exceeding your expectations. They become the perfect dream partner, always by your side, attentive and attuned to even the smallest details. But beneath this sugary facade lies a deeper intent to gauge how much you crave the relationship. They want to know how deeply you desire this connection, how you respond to their praise, and whether you are perceptive enough to spot the red flags. At this stage, everything seems too perfect to be true. You're swept up in happiness, feeling like the luckiest person alive. However, if you're observant, you might notice certain doubts creeping in. Do they truly respect your personal boundaries? Why are they dedicating all their time and energy to someone they barely know? Is there something too much about the way they express their affection? While the initial phase of any relationship is typically beautiful, with a narcissist it is often pushed to extremes. They love bomb you with overwhelming gestures, leaving you dizzy and disoriented. If you fail to keep your distance and remain grounded, you'll be drawn into their manipulative spiral, and the tests will escalate to a new level. Phase 2. Testing your empathy. The second test narcissists subject you to involves subtle trial balloons disguised as everyday conversations. These are carefully crafted remarks or scenarios designed to gauge your reactions and see if you can meet their expectations. For example, they might lament about a work project struggling due to a colleague's incompetence. Here, instead of offering advice or analyzing the situation, the correct response they expect is unconditional empathy, unwavering support, and validation of their exceptional talents. Any objective or rational feedback might be labeled as uncaring or even an attack. Alternatively, they might suggest a spontaneous trip on a day you've already scheduled for work. If you refuse, they'll immediately switch to victim mode, accusing you of selfishness and of not valuing the relationship. The ideal response in their eyes is for you to abandon all personal commitments and prioritize them regardless of the negative consequences for you. They might even pose hypothetical questions like, if I were in an accident, would you move on with someone else? The answer they seek isn't the truth, but a dramatic pledge of undying love and fidelity, even if the scenario is entirely unrealistic. In essence, these trial balloons test your ability to read their desires, predict their thoughts, and fulfill their expectations. The ultimate goal is to reinforce their control, satisfy their ego, and ensure they remain the center of your world. Remember, honest, rational responses are rarely the correct answers in this manipulative game. Narcissists aren't looking for mutual understanding or genuine connection. They seek absolute submission and uncritical admiration from you. Phase 3. Using a third party to test your reactions. The next weapon in the narcissist's arsenal of manipulation is triangulation, a sophisticated psychological game designed to sow insecurity and doubt within you. From the very beginning, they might subtly introduce other figures into the narrative, such as an ex-partner, a special friend, or even a random new acquaintance. They might casually reminisce about past relationships with regret and nostalgia, or compare you to an ex-partner in an ambiguous manner. They won't hesitate to lavish praise on others in ways they've never done for you, making you feel inadequate and envious. Sometimes they'll even create ambiguous situations that make you question their feelings. What's the purpose of this triangulation game? It's to test your tolerance level, whether you can withstand external factors without faltering. When you exhibit jealousy, anxiety, or insecurity, they derive satisfaction from discovering your vulnerabilities. This allows them to manipulate and control you by triggering these negative emotions. Even if you pass the initial triangulation test, don't celebrate too soon. The narcissist won't stop there. They will continue to challenge you with more elaborate tactics, pushing you into increasingly difficult scenarios until you're completely overwhelmed and become their puppet. Phase 4. Testing boundaries. Once the narcissist is certain that you've fallen into their trap, they transition to testing your boundaries. This is when their true nature begins to surface, often most evident during arguments. They will deliberately provoke, insult, or even humiliate you to see how much you can tolerate. Their goal isn't to resolve conflict, but to assess your limits. They want to know how much you're willing to sacrifice for the relationship, whether you'll overlook their toxic behavior or if you'll stand up for yourself. For narcissists, words hold no value. You may say you won't accept being disrespected or demeaned, but unless you take concrete actions, they will interpret it as implicit permission. For example, if you tell them you dislike their constant phone-checking behavior but don't follow through with action, they'll continue doing it even more brazenly. It's only when you set firm consequences, such as locking your phone, keeping it out of their reach, or even threatening to leave, that they start recognizing your boundaries. They often involve others in arguments and challenges to maintain their position of power. Their ultimate goal is to strip you of your autonomy, independence, and sense of self, forcing you to depend entirely on them. A common misunderstanding about setting boundaries is thinking you can directly ask the narcissist to stop their inappropriate behavior, such as saying, "Don't treat me like that," or "You've gone too far." In reality, confronting them head-on only fuels their desire to control you. To them, every reaction you give is proof that you're still engaged in their power game. Every response is a sign of life, showing that they still have control. This approach not only fails but also traps you further and makes you weaker. Instead, healthy boundaries must originate from within and serve your well-being. They aren't commands to control others, but rules to protect yourself and preserve your peace and values. It's crucial to understand that boundaries aren't just words. They are how you act, living in alignment with your principles and values. True boundaries aren't verbal fortresses, but an unbreachable territory within you. They are built on core values, unwavering beliefs, and unshakable self-respect. When you live authentically, choosing what you will and won't accept, you automatically establish boundaries without needing to say a word. Phase 5. Isolation. Among the narcissist's arsenal of manipulative tactics, isolation is one of the most insidious. Their goal is to cut you off from important relationships, turning you into a prisoner in their world, where they are the center of your universe. At first, this might appear as love and care. They want to spend all their time with you, showering you with attention and making you feel like the most special person in the world. Gradually, they'll begin encroaching on your time, leaving no space for friends, family, or personal hobbies. Simultaneously, they'll start planting seeds of doubt about the people around you. They might fabricate stories, exaggerate misunderstandings, or even fake messages to make you believe your friends are gossiping about you, betraying you, or envying you. Their goal is to erode your trust in others, leaving you entirely dependent on them. For instance, they might tell you that your best friend said negative things about you, or disclose secrets you shared in confidence. They might create situations that lead to misunderstandings and conflicts between you and your loved ones. Once you're fully isolated, the narcissist gains greater control over you. You'll have no one to confide in, no one to offer objective advice, leaving you clinging to them, believing their lies, and living in the false reality they've constructed. Phase 6. Silent treatment. Without arguments or confrontation, they'll construct a wall of icy silence, enveloping the relationship in distance and withdrawal. Whenever you make a mistake, no matter how minor, they retreat into their private world, leaving you in confusion and worry. Their silence isn't calm, it's a calculated punishment. They want you to feel guilt-ridden, self-blaming, and desperate for forgiveness. Each attempt you make to reach out is met with greater coldness, making you feel small and worthless. The silent treatment is a harsh test of your patience and self-esteem. How long can you endure their rejection and disregard? Are you willing to overlook their wrongdoings and beg them to return? For example, if you forget an anniversary or make a comment that displeases them, they might immediately disappear from your life. No texts, no calls, no explanations. You're left in a haze of uncertainty and guilt, unsure of what you did wrong. When you try to contact them, they respond with indifference, reinforcing your sense of being a wrongdoer deserving punishment. This strategy is also frequently used when the narcissist finds a new, more appealing supply. They'll simply vanish, cutting all ties without explanation or goodbye. They'll block you on every platform, leaving you drowning in unanswered questions and unbearable pain. While you're trapped in a whirlwind of confusion and despair, they've moved on to their new supply. To them, it's as if you never existed. Their world now revolves around their new prey, a fresher and more enticing source of validation. Don't be surprised if one day they resurface, acting as though nothing happened. They'll re-enter your life as if everything were normal, only to disappear again when they grow bored. Narcissists love playing cat and mouse, keeping you in a state of uncertainty, never knowing what's real or fake. When faced with the narcissist's chilling silence, take a deep breath and stay calm. Don't let negative emotions, confusion, or anxiety overwhelm your reason. Be brave enough to face the truth, no matter how painful. This is just one of their cruel tactics to end the relationship. Accepting this truth isn't easy, especially if your heart still clings to them. But remind yourself that someone who truly loves you would never treat you this way. They wouldn't leave you drowning in insecurity and despair. They would stand by you, share with you, and face challenges together. Don't create imaginary scenarios to justify their disappearance. Don't deceive yourself with theories of unforeseen accidents or misunderstandings. The truth is, they chose to leave selfishly and irresponsibly, leaving you with deep emotional wounds and unbearable pain. Remember, when the narcissist isn't with you, they're with someone else. You're just one of many prey in their cruel game. Phase 7. They blame you. In the narcissist's emotional manipulation playbook, blaming is a familiar tactic used to evade responsibility and maintain control over you. They will skillfully make you the scapegoat for every mistake, failure, or even their own negative emotions. With their rhetorical skills and ability to distort the truth, they will paint a picture in which you are always at fault. You weren't caring enough, understanding enough, or attentive enough. Every one of their shortcomings is rationalized by shifting the blame onto you. Their goal isn't to find the real cause of a problem, but to preserve their perfect self-impeachment and test the limits of your empathy. They cannot accept being wrong, weak, or at fault, so they need a shield to protect their fragile ego. And you are the ideal target. For example, if they cheat, they'll blame you for not spending enough time with them, making them feel lonely and abandoned. If they fail at work, they'll accuse you of not supporting them enough, claiming it distracted them and hindered their performance. They may even blame you for their own negative emotions. When they feel angry, sad, or anxious, they'll unleash their frustration on you, forcing you to bear the brunt of their outbursts. If you easily take the blame, criticize yourself, and try to fix the mistakes they assign to you, congratulations, you've passed their test. You've proven to be the ideal victim, always ready to sacrifice and endure for them. Remember, blaming is a subtle manipulation tactic. Don't let yourself get drawn into this toxic game. Stay alert, differentiate between right and wrong, and stand up for yourself against unjust accusations. Who would have thought that behind the charming exterior and sweet words lies a minefield of calculated tests? Narcissists are true masters of manipulation, constantly seeking ways to challenge, control, and ultimately consume their prey. But don't worry. Now you're armed with the knowledge to recognize those trial balloons, triangulation fog, and storms of blame. Stay vigilant, trust your instincts, and don't hesitate to set firm boundaries to protect yourself. Remember, you deserve to be loved and respected for who you truly are, not to be a pawn in a narcissist game of manipulation. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the mysterious world of psychology. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more engaging and insightful videos. See you in the next video.